Good afternoon and thanks for joining us in this edition of the program 360 Degrees. And today we are talking the presidential race for 2025. We are looking at Cameroonians that have already made their intentions known to run for the supreme magistracy position of the state. We are equally looking at the different opinions passed across by some very policy bearers in the country. We are looking at the clergy, the popes, the bishops rather, the bishops that have been out maybe to give their opinion as to whether or not President Paul Biya should run again for another mandate. And in this edition of the program, we shall equally look at the voters' registration process, which the final phase for the 2025 election has been launched on the 1st of January as stipulated by the Electoral Code, and of course officially launched on Monday by the Director General of Elections. And it should be noted that this electoral process into the registration process into the electoral list has no fixed deadline, because at any moment when the elections will be convened, the process will have to come to an end. All this will constitute our package in today's edition of the program. You're welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is 360 Degrees, and we are beaming live from the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. And with me today, I have some gentlemen in the studio, stakeholders, of course, who will be very much into the upcoming polls for the 2025 presidential elections. We shall go to welcome them in no official order. I will begin from my right, where I have, from my extreme right, I have ERNEST AKOUFOU. ERNEST AKOUFOU is a civil society actor, political analyst, who is here to give his input on the different opinions floating from left to right about who becomes a candidate to the upcoming presidential elections. ERNEST AKOUFOU, it's always a pleasure to have you on our set.
The pleasure is always shared, Hyncenth, and the millions of viewers of Canal 2 television. I want to say good afternoon to all of you out there. And then good afternoon to my co-panelists. I hope that by the end of the hour, we must have dissected and conscientized Cameroonians as per the upcoming elections in Cameroon.
Thank you so much. And by him, I have Barrister Ndong Christopher. Barrister Ndong Christopher is a barrister at law, and he is the National Secretary General of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, and to equally indicate that he is a traditional ruler. Mbe, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Innocent.
Hyncenth.
Hyncenth. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Hyncenth, for that correction. I want to wish Happy New Year to Cameroonians and militants of my party at home and abroad. And of course, we are here today with the topic you have put on the table. They are very interesting topics, and we'll be here to enlighten Cameroonians on the way forward.
Thank you so much. And by my left, I have Mr. UJAMBENG Stephen. He is a member of, a militant of the CPDM, and he equally doubles as the member of the Northwest Regional House of Assembly. It is your first time here, sir. I've tried several times to have you on set here, but fortunately, today you are with us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Hyncenth, for inviting me. Just a bit of correction. I am the section president of CPDM Momo 4.
Thank you so much.
And the Regional Assembly, we refer to members as Honorable Member of Regional Assembly.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's a pleasure being here once more. This is a house. I've been there for quite a long time. I've stayed quite some time without visiting this house.
Yeah.
I want to take this opportunity to extend warm regard to our televiewers, most especially to the militants of the CPDM of Momo Division, and those of the Northwest who will be visiting the family of one of our departed hero, Elhaj Jaji Manu Gidado, who passed on a few days ago. This afternoon we'll be converging there to wish farewell to him and the family. I think this is what is important. We need to work together as a family, symbiosis, and that is the spirit of the CPDM. Okay. There you cannot dare us. Okay. Happy New Year to all Cameroonians.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We'll set the pace by taking these elements on the opinions of some Cameroonians about the candidacy of Pobia. The element is done for us by Beatrice Ngamu.
Since the head of state's end-of-year address to the nation last December 31st, 2024, expressing his acceptance of the people's call, bid for him to stand for the presidential race, tongues have been wagging. The recent being that by some prelates of the Roman Catholic Church asking him to drop the bid. It's today the talk of the time. It's January 7. Government spokesman and Minister of Communication Rene Emmanuel Sadi released a statement on the matter. He made it clear of the rights of all to freely express selves, but the government deeply deplored the vehemence on declaration solely on the presidential stakes and based on a misleading and inaccurate interpretation of the words of the President of the Republic. To him, the President has been invested with a 7-year mandate. It is left for him alone to express self on his determination and desire to answer the bid. Government statement added, Cameroon is a secular state. The harmonious coexistence between religion and public authority is for peaceful relationship and not one of conflict, especially with the Catholic Church. We classified the bishop's statement as pure speculation and cannot influence the free choice of Cameroonians, concluding that at the end of the day, the decision of the president only matters, whether he's going in for re-election or not.
You're welcome back. And as we shall be diving into the discussions proper, whether you are watching us from which part of the world, you have the opportunity to participate and send us your view on our talking points through the numbers you'll be having on your screen. And you do that through SMS and WhatsApp only. Please, if you keep your messages short, we'll be able to take them. But if they're long, we might not take them. So, Ernest AKOUFOU, before we dive into the different opinions, I would just like to get a view. We are in 2025. Have you started feeling the atmosphere of the electoral year?
Well, we are in 2025, no doubt. I want to say Happy New Year to all viewers of Canal 2 television and to all well-wishers. Feeling the electoral fever, yes. Okay. You see, even before 2025, there was a lot of electricity in the air. You know, the presidential elections are the key elections in every nation because it is the president of the republic that defines the policy of the nation. So there is every reason for a lot of agitation, permit me use it that way, a lot of agitation, and the clarion calls for some moderation. Because there is a lot of electricity in the air, and to some politicians, 2025, in which we are, should be the turning point in the political history of this nation. 1990 came with the multipartism. 2025, we put a big question sign. God forbid, it shouldn't be like, if nothing happens in 2025, Cameroon will get into the doldrum. No. Life must continue, right? Yes, but the first things first, I begin to hear many politicians talking about free, fair, transparent, and acceptable elections. And I ask myself, does it mean that for the past years there were never free, fair, acceptable, and transparent elections? So these are some of the things which we take into consideration. Because when you even look at the electoral code, which is problematic, I did think that there could be an extraordinary session of the assembly to maybe revisit the electoral code, but unfortunately the same electoral code with all the shortcomings shall be the very electoral code which will be used during the forthcoming presidential and senatorial elections. So you see, all of that makes it that some election stakeholders are very much concerned about it, and they feel that the field is not level. Okay,
the field is not level. Barrister, at the level of the CRM, we're in 2025. How is the build-up like?
The build-up to 2025, as it concerns the Cameroon Renaissance movement, we are ready.
Okay.
If you see
I like the summary even before the
the
step.
effervescent
Yeah.
that we had in 2024 concerning registering of Cameroonians at home and abroad is what is giving the electricity that my co-panelist, Mr. ERNEST AKOUFOU, is talking. We are multiplying the current. And you see the current is overflowing now, and people are jittering. And we say we are steadfast.
Okay.
We are going in. We shall be a candidate.
Okay.
Come rain, come shine. Nothing stops us.
Okay.
Even divine, even the laws that we have in this country,
Laws of nature
can't stop our candidate.
Okay.
Except, you know, I want to put it in this point for Cameroonians to know, the pot is on the fire.
Okay.
The food is ready. It does not matter whether you take water and throw under the fire, let it quench, the food is ready.
Okay.
And we are the ones who have prepared that food. It is ready.
Okay.
We shall harvest it. We are going to be candidate. 2025, as far as the Cameroonian movement is concerned, which is leader Professor Maurice Kamto at the head, is going to be the government of the Third Republic. So we are talking here about the Third Republic, not the Second Republic, because the Second Republic in our political mentality is gone. It is gone, and it is going gradually. It only has to quench like the fire that is under the pot. The food is ready.
Okay, thank you so much, Barrister. Honorable. Yes, at the level of the ruling party, the CPDM, how is the mobilization like?
Well, this is an interesting topic, which I believe that we are to give our best to the people, to Cameroonians, to be able to understand what they're indulging in. This time around, we're going for presidential elections. The CPDM is always ready all the time. And we talk politics, we drink politics, we eat politics, and every time we dream politics.
Okay.
What is important with the CPDM is that we are constantly in touch with the base.
Okay.
I speak like a section president. A section president controls subsections. Subsections control the branches and the cells. And we have a monthly program in which we get in touch with those at the base to ensure that our militants are all intact. And I can assure you that we are ready for elections at any time, even if it means that the elections are tomorrow. Okay. Victory is secured. One thing I just want to come in, because you mentioned something of a document. I don't know if you permit me to do so, written by the clergy. I think...
It's an outing, just an interview, yes.
Of course. I saw,
a verbal outing, yes.
Of course. Let me first start by thanking the Minister of Communication, who has a very cool mind, level-headed person. His reactions shows that is somebody who masters his office and does not want to create conflict. Otherwise, I will say that it was really uncalled for, because men of God, I mean the clergy, are called and kept aside for special duties to honor God and preach the word of God to God's people. They preach about values, moral values that are credible, values that are God-fearing. They don't indulge into politics. Because when you get into politics, you become partisan. When you become partisan, then you are one-sided. You know? So I think it was an overstatement for the men of God to write such a document calling the head of state not to go in for elections. He's a human being, he's a Cameroonian. He is alive. Nobody takes away life except God. Even those who have been praying that BARR should die, some died many years ago. BARR is still there. He even promised Cameroonian 20 years. He has fulfilled his 20 years, and I'm sure if we continue, he's going to give another. So what I want to tell my co-panelists here is that it's a good thing if you have faith in your candidate. Nothing is bad in that. What matters is the manner with which we go, or we call our militants to go in for the elections to vote. We must not hold standpoints that we are going to win, come rain, come sun, we are the third, we are... These are very terrible spirit that can bring discord with people. You know, election is something which is flexible. Until the ballot tells you, you will not know. Even those of us who say we have militants, you never can tell. So it is at the ballot. What makes me feel like these, our brothers who are preaching hell for these elections.
Is it not because of the mobilization they have done?
Well, making mobilization, when you want to make mobilization, we begin to look, how do you even mobilize? You start mobilizing from the structures of your party. When you have political parties that do not have structure, where do you mobilize? You want to handpick people like that and you guarantee yourself that you win an election? It's impossible, sir.
Okay, I'll be coming to you. Ernest AKOUFOU, I want us to look into the outings of the three bishops. We are talking here about Clergy in Douala. We are talking here about the Bishop of Yagua and another bishop again in Gaoundéré. What do you make of their outing?
Hyncenth and my co-panelists and the viewers out there, I want to say there is no way you can dissociate the Catholic Church and politics.
Okay.
Because when you look at the Vatican, I don't see how you can make it out. And when I hear people come up with vehemence that men of God should not be involved in politics, partisan politics, yes. But you see, what is politics, by the way? I don't want to give a common core course here. Is the way of governance. On this panel, you are using politics to manage the panelists here, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so, and the men of God, they have a duty, they have a responsibility, and they are only performing what they best know what to do, to call the people, to conscientize the people. That's just what they're trying to do. They haven't chosen a candidate, right? And they have an opinion. Men of God have an opinion.
Yeah.
They hold an opinion. So I don't see why the outing of the three different bishops, especially of the Catholic Church, should make it such that there is a lot of panic. Permit me use that. Because there has been a lot of water that's going under the bridge. I want to vividly talk about Monsignor Dogmo.
Okay.
Yes, may school rate in peace. Well, it's a sad story. I shouldn't get into that. But you see, you begin to see that it is not today that people, that men of God, that prelates have a soft spot for politics. Cardinal Tumi, may so equally rest in peace. He had ambitions for that, although they were not voting. Yes. So why do we want to say, no, prelates don't have anything to do with politics? They are living in a society, and the very politicians, the voters, the candidates are under the prelates every Sunday in church. Now, how do you want to dissociate them from doing politics?
Okay.
Impossible.
Okay. Barrister, according to Honorable, he feels that the clergy are meddling into politics.
Not at all, not at all.
Okay.
The clergy are people who are there to build the society morally. And they indoctrinate the people to be of good moral standards. When the presidency takes money and go and put in those churches every Sunday, the church receives the money. When they go steal from state coffers, they come to the same church, they give the money, there's no problem.
You say steal, is it not an overstatement?
Stealing money and bringing to church, there is no problem. Now, when the church stands out on its value, the value of moralizing society, when the church sees its reverend fathers being killed, shot, daylight, no investigation, nothing is coming up, you think they are happy? No. When the same church realizes that the people are in terrible danger of price hikes, high cost of living, everything is going bad, electricity, no, water, no, all of them see it. So they give advice to government. All the outings of the prelates is just an advice to government. They have understood that there is need for a third republic. The president of the republic, in fact, he should, as a father of the nation, all Cameroonians have told him, you have done well, you have tried your best.
Okay.
Now go to retirement home and rest. Eat the little money you have gathered. That is all we ask of him.
Okay, thank you so much.
Give the young a possibility now to come to power, whether it is a young or the old or whoever, but not him again. 43 years is too much. No other person can even sit and say that Paul Biya should stand. Nobody. You have seen even the church. Let me tell you something.
Okay, so nobody when there are people
now
who
listen,
are solidly behind him.
It happened in the Bible.
Yes.
Nebuchadnezzar dared to challenge the time God has promised for him to live.
Okay.
He saw what happened. Herod, they sin. You have Paul, Saul that became Paul, tried to kill God's people. It could not work. So it is now time. God is talking through its leaders.
Okay, thank you so much.
To the people.
Okay.
So Paul Biya should listen to what God is telling him right now.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let's welcome DOH Bertrand. DOH Bertrand is a journalist and he is a managing editor of a Cameroon daily English newspaper, The Guardian Post. DOH, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you and to viewers of Canada International.
Thank you so much. You came in, you heard the other speakers trying to give their views on the outings of the bishops. But there is one thing. When a bishop says he would prefer a devil at the helm of the state than the current president going in, is that not an overstatement?
I would not really want to interpret what the bishop is saying, because these are people with divine authority.
Okay.
But I think they are speaking from an informed position.
Okay.
They are living the realities of what Cameroonians are going through in the various dioceses or the areas where they operate. So I think that it is the realities of what the bishops are living, what they feel Cameroonians are going through, that is pushing them to call for, to make an appeal. Remember, they are not forcing anybody. It is just an appeal because the person who is there and still wishing to stay there, it's backed by the law. So I think they are making an appeal for him as a Catholic Christian, first of all, to also listen to them who are, they carry the voice of God to see how he can give way for other Cameroonians. But I think that except the bishop who want to come out public to clarify what he meant by a devil, it was not so much of a good statement. Okay. It was not so much of a good statement. Remember, you might have a message that you want to pass across, but the manner in which you go about when you're passing across the message also, the credibility, your integrity as a man of God too. I'm not sure every Catholic Christian in that church that day would identify with that statement and will be very happy. But I think it's a message, and many people are appealing for the head of state as a Christian and as a Catholic Christian, for that matter, to listen to the voice of God that is sent through his messages.
When they say what they say, Honorable, before being bishops, they are citizens. And they are giving the impression that the reaction from the clergy is based on what they feel to as citizens. Don't they have an opinion, maybe when it comes to political issues, like citizens, not necessarily like men of God, because they have not said they are talking on behalf of the Catholic Church?
You see, my dear, I want us to be sincere in whatever we're doing here.
Okay.
Let us know that we are informing Cameroonians, educating them and entertaining them.
Sure.
Let us not give information that is not healthy to the people of Cameroon. Because we are looking for political interest or want to back up political positions. I speak as a conflict expert. Okay. There are certain words, like my co-panelist here said, that must be avoided by certain class of people. Yes. Once you accept the calling, because to become a clergy is a call. Sure. Once you accept that call, you are set aside from hollow uses. You are not serving one person, and that person is God. Sure. Not man. Your duty, your role is to educate the people of God by giving them upright bringing with Christian values. And for them to be able to absorb that education that you are giving to them, there must be credibility in the way you discharge your duty as a man of God. Okay. When a man of God comes to the public and talk about Satan, devil, publicly, it tells you that the devil he serves behind has override his reasoning to the extent that he would not even understand that he was addressing the world about talking about devil. Whereas you have been ordained as the servant of God. The watchword that should be coming out of your mouth should be that of God. Okay. Telling the people to avoid all types of other gods but serve God, the creator of heaven and earth. No devil, not Satan.
Okay, thank you so much.
So let me, you ask a question about their persons as an individual can,
Yes.
do this. They have a right to vote or not to vote as a citizen.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that their work is not the act of politics, getting themselves into political activities, or telling politicians what to do or not to do, but rather they have a position to educate the same politicians by preaching the word of God. And if you are preaching with discernment, it will cut across the person you are talking to. You don't need to write letters with advice. Give that advice in the house of God to preach to the people, the voters, and the people who are canvassing for position.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Before I come to you, let me get back to DOH Bertrand.
Yeah.
Though we are in 2025, and even before the end of 2025, we saw a series of alliances sprouting from left to right. What do you make of such? In a year, many will want to consider maybe the opposition to be very serious. But at this point, we see multiple alliances still growing.
Yes, I think so far we've had just 2 alliances that are making news. What the Minister of Territorial Administration is even struggling to, to call to docility. But I want to say that he has been making it known that political alliances are not kind of authorized in the country, whereas the CPDM itself is into political alliances. So there are so far 2 groups of political parties.
Yes.
I think we have the APC and the other group, and all of them have a common goal. They just differ in ideology. The ideal behind the alliances is for us to, sweep out the CPDM system that has been in place for 43 years and counting, and see how we can usher in a new Cameroon change. So, and I think that for a democratic society, what we say we are, though our democracy is still very new,
It's still creeping.
and vulnerable, we should allow the political alliances to take place. They should animate the political arena up to October, and then we'll see what the opposition is going to make out of this. Remember that there is an alliance that is backing the MRC leader,
Yes.
and then there is another one that is still coming up. We don't know who is going to be at the head of it. And
there is
then we
another
already
one.
have a political, civil society organizations joining forces with some political parties to back an individual as a presidential candidate. And just to say that the CPDM itself is in alliances because we have the G20, which is a group of political parties that back the ruling party during presidential elections. We even have the presidential majority.
Okay.
We have the presidential majority, which is also a group of political parties.
Just a minute, Honorable, yes.
That back this. So, but I think that the Minister of Territorial Administration should give the opposition political parties the leeway. What Cameroonians are hoping for is for the opposition to of course agree. We should be able to see the opposition, have a common goal, which is to oust the system that has been in place, even though the electoral code, as many opposition political parties have been crying for, the electoral code might not be too convenient for them to of course unseat the current ruling party through the ballot box.
Okay. Barrister, we are talking about the different candidates, and we have those that have already made their intentions known directly, like your national president, Professor Maurice Kamto. Are you not bothered that Article 121 of the Electoral Code may hunt him down not to be a candidate?
No. The readings of that law is very clear.
Okay.
You
are a legal mind, I must say. You are a legal mind. Maybe you will help us to edify us.
Very clear that any political party that wants to put up a candidate should have an elected member.
An elected official.
It has never been two. An elected official. And have stipulated the various categories of people in society that have to be there.
Of course.
Councillors, regional councillors,
MPs, senators,
etc., etc., etc. We are saying that we have people who are elected officials within the CRM party.
Okay.
Don't ask me who. Because the devil in front is waiting for that message. We'll give him only at the right moment.
Okay.
And that qualifies our candidate for presidential elections. If you look at it, when we did not go after that election, the noise over TV, all over newspaper is that, oh, Kamto will never be candidate. It came to the middle of that period, it stopped.
Okay.
Because they understood that, no, we're talking like this. Anyhow, that was one point. Another point is that you can go in for that election as an independent candidate.
Of course.
My president, Professor Maurice Kamto, held a national council meeting where we debated all these 3 points. We have more than 5 votes of 300 to support him as an independent candidate. We have it.
Okay.
We're not making noise.
No, but I see.
No, hold on.
Please,
hold on, I'm still talking.
Let him learn, please.
If it jitters you, note. You answer after.
Right on, Barrister.
Maybe you are one.
Right on, Barrister. Right on.
I said we have more than 5 folds of that number. He can be qualified through that means.
Okay.
The last one is getting into another political party, which is a jurisprudence in this country.
Of course.
So what makes you think in your mind that Kamto cannot be candidate? We are very comfortable. We shall be candidate for the presidential elections. Don't cry. You go to a place where somebody is dead. You cry more than the bereaved. You don't do that.
Okay.
We have said this soundly that Kamto will be candidate for the presidential elections. He is not hiding it like that of the head of state. There we know his own in his party is natural. Meaning, since nobody is coughing from the CPDM, Paul Biya will be.
It's not that nobody is coughing.
Nobody.
The party law stipulates that the national
I say
president
after
is
the
a
outings
candidate.
even of the bishops, the outings of civil society, outings of political parties and independent personalities, that Mr. President, you have done your best.
Okay.
Go and rest. No CPDM person is coughing.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
And so therefore, there is a sterile machine that is there. Until that machine is broken off, then you see them running out like cockroaches that were tied in a container.
Okay.
So I'm saying that Kamto is candidate for 2024.
2025.
Sorry, this year. Because Section 15 of the Constitution to ties with 121 of the Electoral Code. Read it.
Okay.
You will come to the conclusion that Professor Maurice Kamto will be candidate for the presidential election.
Thank you so much. Ernest AKOUFOU, when we see CPDM militants, some officials reminding Kamto that his boycott of 2020 indirectly is putting him out of the race, is it a role of the CPDM to remind him that, or is it not a role of ELECAM, which is the electoral body?
Hyncenth, I must say that Cameroonians lack a lot of political education.
Okay.
Yes, there's no gainsaying about that. I think the CPM tried putting up an academy, but how effective is that academy? There is a lot of innocence as far as political issues in this country are concerned.
Okay.
Because we have, I think, the neighborhood of almost 300 political parties. And this is the period when you see them. They'll begin to say want to be constitute part of the majority, presidential majority and all the like. You never meet them before elections. When you talk of some members, yeah, because please always use some.
I say
yes.
some.
Yeah,
I didn't say all.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Yes. You see, that is part of the game.
Okay.
That is part of the game.
The political game.
What is that game? Politicking and political sloganeering. Yes. You must beat your opponent psychologically before you get to the field.
The physical.
That is just what is happening. Because I don't see how some people arrogate themselves and become those who are supposed to tell people the law. Allow the elections governing body to tell people what is necessary and not individuals from certain parties telling people what is necessary. Because when you look, that's why I started off by saying there is a lot of electricity in the air. You see, everybody wants to pull the blanket to his or her own side.
Okay.
And then make believe. There is a lot of make believe, smoke screen. Yes. You see, and I say that's part of the game because people want to be beforehand. Push others to the wall,
Okay.
then get center stage, and then brainwash Cameroonians. That's why I say there is no political education in Cameroon.
Okay.
How many Cameroonians have read through the electoral code?
Thank you so much.
Hyncenth,
Before I come to you, let me just take this reaction. We have many of them. Hello, good afternoon in the studio and to the fine brains on the panel. I think when the bishop says we prefer a devil to be the president, to me, he just meant that there is no person that will sit there that will be
An angel.
worse than maybe the current regime. We just need a change in whosoever is going there.
All right.
That is coming from all the way from Noni. Noni is in the northwest region. Yes, Bertrand, you were itching to
I wish to make a few comments on what Barrister said. Who is a militant of MRC. I think he's a Secretary General.
Yes.
You don't think?
With all due respect.
He's the National Secretary General.
Secretary General.
Positions go out. He could be coming to the studio when he has been changed.
I
So
am the Secretary
choose my
General.
words.
Okay.
I choose my words.
Yes.
I choose my words. He could be coming to the studio when you have been changed. Who does?
I am
Nobody
the Secretary
knows.
General.
Okay, I'm reminding you that he is still the National Secretary General.
I am the Secretary General, not National Secretary General. I'm Secretary General home and abroad.
All right,
Okay.
of MRC.
Yes. Okay.
All right. These clarifications are very necessary because somebody can even think that he's a Secretary General in the diaspora. He's a Secretary General, Global Secretary General.
Around the world, I'm the only Secretary General.
These are very nice clarifications for
Please,
those of us who report
don't be
politics. All right, Barrister, I think I'm very happy with the laws you've cited. Cameroonians are aware of this. We who report politics, we are aware. But you cannot sit on a set like this and then would deny the fact that the MRC staying out of the 2020 local elections does not have an impact on what is at stake now. The conditions, the three conditions you have mentioned are clear. You must have local representatives, that is either a councillor, regional councillor, an elected official in general. Now, by boycotting 2020 municipal and legislative elections means you don't have a local representative anywhere. This point is clear. The MRC cannot fill in a candidate, be it Maurice Kamto or any other person.
Please, I will not like you mislead the public.
Let him land. Let him land, please.
I gave you section 121.
Please, let me
read it in line with section 15
You are not the only one who reads the law.
Let him land, Barrister, please.
By boycotting the local elections means you cannot fill a candidate through this procedure, through this this guideline. The MRC has two options now. That is to fill in an independent candidate, which means the party representative can go in by having 300 signatures, which he knows how difficult it is.
Yes, he acknowledged that.
He has acknowledged that. But we should not say the MRC has a councillor somewhere or an MP somewhere when they did not take part in it. If there is an MRC councillor somewhere, then it means the person does not belong to the MRC.
Okay.
Because you must belong to, if you're a councillor, you must be a councillor of a
Party.
of a party, and you are sharing, you are a councillor in a council.
Yes.
There is nothing like that. If you do not go in for the elections,
Mr. Journalist, you are not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer, but that's what the law says.
Okay.
You don't know a councillor when you do not participate in the
You don't know what you're saying.
elections.
You are not a lawyer.
And also, we are not. We have not yet. I'm not. I'm not a political party militant. I'm not a political party militant. Don't misinterpret me for a we are educating Cameroonians. We don't have much time. We are a candidate. The MRC can only field in a candidate, an independent candidate, by having 300 signatures, or another political party endorsing the MRC candidates. Let us be clear with this. Don't come ahead to talk to Cameroonians.
I'll reply you on the other one.
Okay, thank you so much.
The one you are lacking knowledge, I'll give you.
I think I have the floor.
Yes, please.
There is something which I want to correct here. I'm happy ERNEST AKOUFOU used the right words.
Okay.
Political parties. We have about 300 and something. Yes, not opposition parties.
Yes.
Because these are two words that people are making mistakes there. Opposition is in the assembly. If you have a political party that does not have a representative, you're a party of proposition. You are only proposing ideas. You are not opposing because you don't have the representative to oppose.
Okay.
So let's make this clear.
Very clear, it's clear.
Now, the other part of it, my brother, learned brother here, talked about the CPDM creating alliances. Most of those parties and civil organizations that are coming up thinking that they buy the political program of the CPDM are mostly party of proposition. because they see the party that comes up with a good political program and think that we adhere to this program. And that's why they give in their support rather than coming in to be repeating the same thing.
Okay.
Now, the other part of it, political parties were created because they think they have a political program to
they have something to offer. Yes.
And so when you start creating alliances, do you have the same ideology with your political parties?
When the CPDM
ideas can emerge,
maybe comes into alliances with the G20, do they have the same?
I am talking of proposition.
Yes.
I talked of proposition.
Okay.
They don't oppose. They are not opposing. They are proposing.
Okay.
Either to the party in opposition in the assembly that has representative.
Yes, I think so.
And then the same thing the other parties are doing.
Me, sir.
Yes. Go on.
Yes. No, they can propose. They can propose.
Yeah.
You know, they can propose to in a party, but not making an alliance. Anyway, the law is clear on that. I'm not going to talk about that, but I want to talk about elections. Now, my brother, the Secretary General of CRM. In fact, I give you a pat on your back for the courage you have and the support you have for your president. You want him to be a candidate at all costs, but it's a really an unfortunate situation with the law. The law is a law. You cannot change the law.
He's a lawyer. Let me remind you that.
I'm saying that the law is the law.
So he's not talking.
You cannot change the law because
yes.
you see. Kanto, I look at him as a very brave Cameroonian, even though there's some kind of disorder in the way he goes about, but he's brave. And he's also knowledgeable. We must say things the way they are. But he erred. Because immediately after the presidential elections, he was only seeing him as somebody to be elected. He did not see that the militants that were supporting him to become
they were
president
also going to be
have
MPs.
a position as a councillor, a regional councillor, or a parliamentarian. Now he shot his leg by himself. And the law has caught him. He also said something. Please don't cut me because they talked and sometimes even skip me away the other way.
We don't have much time.
He talked something about having candidates that will vote for them and not the like. So what they are thinking is to sneak within parties to steal some candidate that will vote for them.
Not stealing.
I'm telling you, no, you're buying because you're going to buy.
Is it not permitted in politics?
Well, it's not permitted because every political parties invest credible candidate in the elections. And so for the CPDM, we are confident of our councillors, we are confident of our regionals, we are confident of our parliamentarians, our senators. I don't even see anywhere where CRM will go to bribe some people to come and give them support. But I think the law says that the political party that is going should have this representative.
Thank you.
That you don't have. Talking about coming in as an independent candidate when you already have a political party is another question mark. So I would rather suggest to my brother, who is the Secretary General, a very talented and eloquent Secretary General of the CIM. The guy is wasting his talent there. He's really wasting his talent.
Thank you so much.
An opportunity he could grab.
Yes.
No, permit me. He has an opportunity to grab. Maybe to propose to his president that you should understand that this election is not the one we can contest. Maybe we start looking for an alternative way to support.
Thank you so much. Before I come to you,
no, this will be injustice if I don't reply to this young people.
See,
Misleading public opinion.
I promise you that after this element, you'll be the first person to speak. Please, we'll just have a breather with this, and we'll come back and dive into our second topic of
misleading
the day.
of public opinion.
Before the national and the international media, this January 9, 2024, at the Cameroon Renaissance Movement headquarters in Yaoundé, Maurice Kamto laments on key disturbing issues ahead of the 2025 presidential election. The CRM national president insists that elections Cameroon has not respected the law while publishing the voters' registration list on December 30th, 2024.
By his own admission, the Director General of ELECAM has not published the National Electoral Roll as required by law. This serious breach of the law is likely to compromise the participation of many Cameroonians in the expected presidential election, this situation undermines the right to vote of every citizen duly registered on the electoral roll who remains uncertain as to whether his or her registration is valid and unable to make any corrections.
The opposition party decries the intimidation of Cameroonians who try to denounce fraudulent practices.
A man in CPDM uniform, surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands of national identity cards, who, according to the video, was acting on the orders of a former CPDM member of National Assembly from the Vina division in the Adamawa region. The young whistleblower, Jubairu, who uncovered this case of flagrant electoral fraud, was abducted on 24 December and has yet to be found. I call on this former member of National Assembly and the authorities to free this young compatriot who, in truth, should be congratulated for his Republican vigilance.
Despite the different irregularities pointed out, the CRM commits to continue sensitization for more Cameroonians to massively register in the electoral list and participate in the election when time comes. The ball is set for Cameroonians yet to write their names on the electoral list. Reopened on January 1st, as stipulated by Section 74, Sub 2 of the Electoral Code, the voters' registration process for 2025 is officially launched this January 6 at Mbankumu, Mefo Anakono Division of the Central Region, by the Director General of Elections, Eric Esose, with a clear objective.
What we want to do now is to encourage, particularly the youth. Also, we want that for this year is the year of the election. We want to have many persons to be registered so that our role we can go over 8 million of persons registered, because now we are around 8 million, but not yet.
Being a peculiar year with the exercise to be suspended from the date of the convening of elections by the head of state, according to Section 75 Sub 2 of the Electoral Code, Eric Esose calls on aspiring voters to waste no time.
To convoke each citizen to come to be registered, but the strategy is to come first in our council, first to go everywhere. Then if we have our kit, you can be registered. But we don't want to register the person who at the moment for voting they are not there. We want to take the sound person, the person who will be there at the day of election.
Many rushing, taking advantage of the launching this Monday to get their cards. Elections Cameroon also insist that enough mobilization has been made nationwide to massively register Cameroonians who want to cast their vote in the upcoming elections.
You're welcome back. Gentlemen, we have barely 10 minutes to the end of the program. We'll try as much as possible to coordinate ourselves, not to interrupt, in order to gain time. But before that, let me
have a reply.
Yes. Before coming to you, let me just welcome Jacob Enong, who is here. He is of the civil society. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Hyncenth. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Our televiewers, greetings. I followed up. The debate was very, very edifying and catchy. I was itchy to come out, although I was not there. So, but I had a few things. If time will permit, I will contribute in the construction of our nation. Maybe you just dive into them before I take the mic from you. Exactly. I wanted to acknowledge some of the points that our brothers made on panel here. Errors made must be acknowledged for Cameroon to move forward. The CRM had the opportunity to galvanize, to canvass for a good portion of Cameroonians to stand behind them.
Okay.
And they lost it. Same error from the deed. And it affected him until his departure.
Okay.
If they keep arguing on that, I think we are not doing clean politics.
Okay.
And it's a lesson for us to understand that greed has killed Cameroon a lot. Because I have the impression that it seems somebody was thinking only of themselves.
Okay.
It was only about president, and was not thinking about the roots and the branches, the feathers that make up that president.
Okay.
If you look at my brother's party, the CPDM party, I think even though they focus in having that grip, holding the helm of the state, they do not they do not play for a second to adjust their roots. You have the CPDM represented in almost all the nooks and crannies of this nation. These are factors that, if they go for elections, they will win. So I think that, given that they made that mistake, not going for the parliamentary and council elections, there is a clause in the law now that is following them up. They should acknowledge that and start looking for sympathizers through the other political parties and through independent candidate, and making that very loud and clear enough. Secondly, one other thing that caught my attention is the reminder on Cameroonians. You know, when the year was closing up last year, Cameroonians became more anxious and aware that there is registration for the elections. It's important to note that this is a kind of a reawakening spirit, which is also now encouraged by the outings of the different bishops, which we support and load for. So we think that we use this platform to plead with all Cameroonians to go and register, because many thought that as they were closing it at the end of the year, that was all the elections. But when we hear again that it is reopened here in January, it's hope, much hope, and it's going to be closed only around when the president will convene the elections. So I think it's good news that we have to alarm it for many Cameroonians who thought that it was completely closed. They should come out. I will end by saying that the first topic they talked on the bishops, the bishops' outings. I think it is even belated.
Okay.
The bishops' outings are even belated. As civil society, every Cameroonian, whether you are in a political party or not, you have the right and the legitimacy to comment on your feeling on how the nation goes on. The only error that I could draw a bit from what the bishop said is the little exaggeration in the manner, like DOH BERTRAND brother said, the little error on the manner in which he said. Like the Minister of Territorial Administration said, those who are adding petrol in fire, they will not let them go down. I think that if we look at Cameroon very well, we have a very serious security situation. And nobody will wish that it should get worse.
Sure.
Every Cameroonian is fully aware of what Cameroon is going through. General hardship. Pushing Cameroonians with certain harsh words may not be very necessary. I think we are already at the end of a journey where God is going to save us, and we are going to have a peaceful change without. We don't need any pressure. We don't need any war. We don't need any fight. We don't need any violence.
Thank you so much.
Cameroonians should simply go and register
and vote
and get ready to vote. Whom they think and are convinced can man the affair of this country, for us to have our roads repaired, for us to have our youth employed, for us to have our networks improved, for us to have, in fact, to have a better living condition and clean the nation, to have a dignified society, home and abroad.
Thank you so much for that input. Barrister, I promise giving you the mic. Before you take the mic, so that you just...
and you don't give me 2 seconds.
You just react at once. The CRM seems not to be very happy with the voters registration process. What is happening? You
are diverting me. Please, I want to say something.
Yes.
I want to clear national and international opinion.
Okay.
The Cameroon Renaissance movement of Professor Maurice Kamto, the law gives 3 conditions to be a presidential candidate. Kamto fulfills all the 3 conditions. The first, which is troubling my non-legal mind, is that of being an elected member within the party. But I will tell Cameroonians and international community to read that particular section of the law, jointly with section 15 of the Constitution. You will understand that Kamto will be a candidate. And let me inform all those listening, he will be under the banner of the CRM as presidential candidate.
Okay, I think
now,
the point is clear.
That one is clear.
Yes.
Go and read those 2, 121, with 15 of the Constitution, you
It's
know
clear,
that
it's clear.
what is disturbing our mind as non-legal minds is a real
the message is clear, Barrister.
voila.
Yes,
So we
let's
shall
move
go
on.
in for elections.
The message
so
is
don't
clear.
be bothered.
Yes, let's move on.
Yes. You were asking the next question.
The next question, the CRM seems to be very dissatisfied with the voters registration process.
Yes, the dissatisfaction comes as a result of ELECAM now playing as an agent to defraud well in advance the electoral process of registration, which the party in its hierarchy had taken a complaint to ELECAM body and telling them to adjust it before the close of election, before they convene the electorate. The problems are, one, ELECAM promised us in the last meeting they held in Palais de Congrès that the 120,000 electors they wiped because they said they didn't have their fingerprints. They will bring it back. They have published the last result without the 120,000. Number two, now the other Cameroonians who registered out of the 120, they said equally nothing has been done. And we seem to see that they have a logic to remain, and at the end, it will always come back to 7 million something. So nothing has changed. We are not happy with the registration exercise of ELECAM. The third part is that we have now filed an action to the Constitutional Council to tell us or instruct ELECAM through a reasoning decision to follow the law. We are asking only for the law. Apply the law, nothing more. So therefore, CRM, through Professor Maurice Kamto, is calling on all Cameroonians that go and register. The registration is open. If you don't register now before June, anytime within this period, Paul Biya calls for the electorate registration end. So that mass that was end of 2024, go and register very fast. That we are fighting for a change of government into the Third Republic, not fighting to maintain the Second Republic. Cameroonians should know that. And getting a change into the Third Republic, it should be the CRM leadership. You should vote to get into the Third Republic.
Thank you, Barrister Ernest Akoufou. Please, your last word on the voters registration process in less than 1 minute.
I think elections are a process, and in this process, each one comes after the other. When I begin to hear all the wahala about the elections being rigged, because that's being rigged, you rig elections before the elections. Yes, it's appalling, right? Elections are not war. Politics is not war, and we must know that. But I said at the beginning of the program, there is a lot of electricity in the air, and if we think that we must use iron to sharpen iron, I don't think this is the right moment. Yes, because as Tanya Anong did say, we are living in a precarious security moment, and we must be very careful. For if things degenerate, they may go very, very catastrophic.
Thank you. DOH Bertrand, your last word?
I think ELECAM is doing its best, but the real problem is most of those who are voting age 20 and above do not have ID cards. I think the head of state even acknowledged that. If you see a subdivision like AKOUFOU, that has got for 62 years without an identification post, for somebody who is of voting age to register, you must have an ID, and you have to travel to Manfei, and you spend close to 120,000 francs to and fro before you secure just the identification receipt that will permit you to even register. So I think that if this month, as the Delegate General for National Security promised last year, if the new identification system can go in place, can go operational, that will permit Cameroonians to have their identity cards in about 48 hours, it will be very encouraging, and this will permit more and more Cameroonians to register. And the figures too should not frighten political parties. The more we have, look at small countries, 15 million voters, and we are we are just around 8 million voters, and we are still struggling to get to 10 million, and not all the people who vote. So we are praying that those who register should actually go out and vote, and then protect the votes.
Honorable, your last word, please.
Yes, just to encourage ELECAM to continue to do the good work they are doing, though we have people who would never appreciate the effort of others. I think the government is taking good action towards creating the identification post in all the councils area, and the mayors were asked to create identification post within their councils. So I'm sure that within the shortest time. We're going to be having identification posts in all the councils.
Thank you so much.
And to tell Cameroonians
Please try to learn.
It is your right. It is your right to register and vote. You are voting for or you are voting against. It is your civil right to register and vote.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. If you missed out on anything, the rebroadcast of this program will be on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Until we meet again next Saturday, do not forget to go and get yourself registered if you want to be counted among those who will be out to decide the fate of this nation by the end of this year, 2025.